stop emotional eating for good when we address two pieces effectively, the emotions and the eating. A lot of us thought beating emotional eating was going to be really hard. Like, I've done really well with healthy eating until I get into an emotional state and I'm just used to handling that with food and I get cravings and it feels too hard. So many of us have discovered it really became a non-issue so naturally, just like our weight did. All of our relationship issues with eating and drinking really resolved quite easily when we used a truly healthy eating approach. So many of us are using food or drink to comfort ourselves emotionally or to numb uncomfortable feelings. I know I remember, telling myself in the morning, I'm just going to eat and drink healthy tonight. I'm not going to do that usual, really indulgent thing that I end up feeling so guilty about. Then by the end of the day, I'd be feeling irritated or I'd be feeling upset, and I would feel like I need to eat and drink that way because I need to solve these uncomfortable feelings. And it can become such a habit. We can feel a little bit out of control with our emotional eating, even when it feels important to change it, even when it's seriously affecting our weight or our metabolic health or our life in various ways. What I've noticed, because I've researched some of the programs and the books about emotional eating, and I've taken some of the programs and I've thought, okay, you're addressing half of the solution really well, but you're completely wrong on the other half. So I want to share what I see about what will actually make this stop. Emotional eating is super common, and it seems to help us feel better in the moment. It's common, it's understandable, but it's a failed strategy for living our best life. So we all know the triggers, like I'm upset about something, there's a relationship conflict. The one feeling I felt like I could not sit with at all was if I was angry or upset with someone, like, oh, I need to eat or drink something now to make this go away. So relationship conflicts, uncomfortable emotions, feeling really fatigued or overwhelmed, like there's all this stuff I got to deal with, but I don't want to deal with it right now. Financial pressures, going through losses, maybe a serious illness in the family. We've used food or drink to distract ourselves or to numb our feelings because it's such a simple solution. Our primitive brain learns it really fast. Oh, that was really simple. I ate something, I felt a little bit better. The problem is that emotional eating only helps temporarily, and it actually tends to make the problems that are causing the uncomfortable feelings worse. Like, they don't get better while we're sitting there eating and drinking, right? By tomorrow, the problem may have compounded. You ever let one of those problems go on and you're eating and drinking to not feel the problem, and it's 2 years later and boy, has the problem gotten bigger. So we know this, and then it gives us these additional problems of weight gain and metabolic health issues. Look, a lot of us are doing this, and it's understandable, but it creates this vicious cycle. We eat for emotional reasons. We feel a little better when we eat. We get this burst of serotonin, which is a calming, happy chemical. We get distraction, and then we feel guilty and upset with ourselves, like I wasn't going to do that. And then we want to do some more emotional eating again to feel better. So there's lots of books and programs out there to address emotional eating. They all address how to handle and transform the emotional states in other ways, right? And that's one of the keys to overcoming emotional eating. Feelings are indicators. Like, if you think about the indicator lights on your car and one of those red lights goes off, and it's really irritating. Like, if you just put something over it so that it doesn't irritate you anymore, you're probably going to end up with broken things in your car, right? And it's the same with our feelings. Feelings are indicators that something is important to us. We don't have emotional reactions to things that aren't important to us. So we don't want to just not look at them, right? If we're just pushing it off and pushing it off every day, the problem is not going to get better. I think we need to love ourselves enough to listen to ourselves, to feel our feelings. I remember it was very awkward, but saying to myself, all right, I'm going to let myself eat or drink the things in 10 minutes, but first I have to identify what I'm feeling and why. I have to take a little bit of a moment to pay attention to what I'm feeling. And then if I want to eat and drink, I can. So that's kind of where I started. And it was shocking to me that all the ways I knew for handling emotions had gone out the window as eating and drinking became the solutions for me. They're just so simple. It doesn't feel very comfortable. It feels very awkward, but letting myself feel these feelings and checking where's that coming from? What's that about? What's important to me here really helped me. Like it was a lot more loving to take that time with myself. Like imagine someone you love talking to you about something that's really hurting or upsetting them. And so you don't want to hear it because it's making you feel upset. So you stuff food in their mouth. Maybe we do that a little bit, right? And I certainly was doing it to myself. With someone that you really love, that you really want to be responsive to, you'll hear them out, empathize with their pain. You might even put words to their feelings. Oh, I can hear how frustrating that is to you. I can hear how hurt that made you. I can hear how lonely you feel in that situation. That's love. Like stuffing food in their mouth would not be love, right? So one step to overcoming emotional eating is to love ourselves enough to feel our feelings, to sit with them, to offer loving kindness to ourselves. Well, I can see why you're feeling that way. Maybe try to identify if these feelings are telling us there's something in your life that you need to change. So somebody violating your boundaries, like if you're mad or irritated, it might mean somebody keeps stepping on you or somebody keeps taking you for granted. Maybe you want to notice that you're feeling that way and think about, well, how do I want to handle this? You know, in childhood, so many of us had the experience of being told not to be mad, like, stop it. And probably the adults were trying to teach us something helpful, which is be careful about how you act out your anger because people won't like you. But we may have learned I shouldn't feel angry. I should never let anyone know I feel angry. And that's trouble. Sometimes it's appropriate to be angry. Sometimes it's telling us something important. So I was looking at a Mayo Clinic article about this, and they had all these steps to breaking emotional eating, like increase awareness of what you're eating, like maybe keep a food diary. Well, that's good because eating without awareness can keep us in a lot of trouble, right? There's a lot of benefit to that. They talked about you need to find ways to tame your stress. So whether it's meditation or deep breathing or yoga or something, everybody needs ways to de-stress that don't hurt us. Eating and drinking to make my stress go away, that is causing additional problems. And it is not handling the things causing me stress. Better to do something that doesn't hurt me, right? Check if you're feeling truly hungry and give cravings time to pass. I'm going to talk about that more in a minute because we could be feeling truly hungry or we could be feeling something else. In any case, the feelings are probably going to pass. They're not going to keep yelling at us. They talk about reducing temptations, getting support, making sure that you're learning from all the setbacks, having ways to fight boredom, right? With alternate behaviors other than eating. Oh, I'm bored. I think I'll eat. I'm bored. What else could I do? So these are all important pieces of advice. They're definitely helpful to the change process. A lot of us want to find better ways to handle stress and other ways of letting ourselves feel our feelings so that we don't feel we have to stuff them, loving ourselves enough. But here's where the other books and programs and the advice misses the boat, in my opinion. They're missing the biggest key of all that can make it really natural to just stop emotional eating. My clients and I find this all the time. Just one client was telling me last week, I used to do this emotional eating, but I don't do it anymore because it just doesn't fit my approach to eating. So this is what I say, the biggest key of all to stopping emotional eating is truly healthy eating. It's a cure. It just makes emotional eating stop. Like if it's not time to eat, I don't eat. If it's not my food, I don't eat it. Also, I eat abundant, highly nutritious foods at my meals. And when I do that, I'm not getting hungry between meals. I'm not getting cravings between meals. So why are doctors and articles telling us we never treat any foods as off limits? I think it's because they recognize that emotional eaters are going to feel deprived and upset if they try to reduce the craving for foods. So those feelings of deprivation and upset can really keep feeding the emotional eating cycle. So we do want to address those feelings because their old habits are going to bring them back over and over, and we're just going to have that vicious cycle like that we can't interrupt. So treating the non-nutritious food-like substances as off limits is something they say, well, don't do that, but just try to eat these things mindfully and do try to eat more of the nutritious things. And if you feel like you must eat between meals, try to choose healthier alternatives. The thing I see about all that advice is it is really failing to understand the biology and the neurochemistry of cravings and the things that cause cravings, right? So we really just keep cravings going when we feed them, and trying to have a little less. I'm going to just really try to have less of the wine at night. I'm going to really try to have less of the things that I really crave. It's called intermittent reinforcement for a habit, and it's the best way to make a behavior stronger. So they're really misunderstanding the neuropsychology of this. I'm going to link to a video below that explains how truly healthy eating changes our hunger. And I'm going to also put a video below on why do we crave the bad stuff instead of the good stuff. So I'm going to explain how truly healthy eating stops our cravings for those non-nutritious so-called treats. We just stop the cravings. I want to share Barb telling me how she thought she was going to really struggle to resist eating between meals because she had always done that, and it seemed very natural and normal to her, and it seemed almost necessary. But she discovered that when she started eating abundant real food at meals, the insatiable hunger pangs just stopped, and she didn't feel like she needed to eat between meals. So she realized, I didn't try to stop doing that exactly. I just didn't need to do that anymore. It just kind of went away because I got so clear about my meals. So she said, it doesn't matter what snacks other people are eating. If it's not time to eat, I just don't eat. And it just became natural, right? Which is something I love about this. And then I want to share about Colleen. She had really strong cravings for both wine and for sweets. And she lost them all when she decided to abstain for a while from sugar and alcohol. So she wasn't feeding the cravings for those things anymore, and the cravings just went away. They were no longer an issue. So taking them off the table for a while makes the cravings just stop. You don't keep feeling more and more cravings once you abstain for a period of time. So this can be so much simpler. We're making it way too complicated by trying to keep a little of those non-nutritious things, which really serves the food industry, by the way. It is not serving us. It can be simple. We can learn to eat our food and feel our feelings instead of trying to eat our feelings. When that becomes our habit, I just eat this healthy way all the time and I enjoy it. It's just how I eat. And I just let myself feel my feelings, and I find other ways to distract myself when I need to. And I actually just cope with my problems so much better. So when this becomes our habit, I eat my food, I feel my feelings, we naturally have such a better life. This whole area of stress kind of naturally goes away. So I encourage you to love yourself enough to feel your feelings, explore what they're telling you, love yourself. And the other part of stopping emotional eating is to take the excess excitement and stress out of eating. Learn what truly healthy eating is, how it's different from what you thought, and commit to making it your habit. Don't be scared of emotional eating. It can really naturally fall away. So you can really choose this. You can make some life-changing discoveries. You can discover how to really enjoy eating real, highly nutritious foods in abundance, filling yourself up on them 3 times a day. And it means there's no more hunger between meals, and it means snacking between meals becomes completely unnecessary. And you can discover a completely different kind of pleasure and joy in eating. You can trade the overly excited, stressful relationship with food. You can trade that for a really tranquil kind of pleasure. It's like uncovering an innate nutritional wisdom inside you. It's gorgeous. So bottom line, truly healthy eating makes emotional eating a non-issue. It's just that truly healthy eating is something different than what you think. So I'd love to hear your experiences in the comments below, your experiences with emotional eating. Can you imagine it just kind of naturally not being an issue anymore once you get super clear how to eat? I'm going to create a 30-day program that's going to start in October to bust emotional eating. So this could give you a real transformation if this topic is interesting to you. All right, I'm really glad that you came today. Thanks, and let me know your experiences in the comments below.